Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel, or just welcome to my channel if you're new here. I'm Nella for those of you who don't know, and this is just Nella. Now I'm a travel and lifestyle content creator based in Kingston, Jamaica, and I also happen to be a full-time medical doctor. And in today's video we'll be discussing how much I spend in a month living in Kingston, Jamaica as a 31-year-old medical doctor. Now I'm going to go as detailed as possible, but I'm just not comfortable giving you guys exact figures for some things because I mean it's a little bit too much information and a little bit too much business on the internet, but I'll do the best I can. Now if you're interested in finding out what I do and how much I spend in a month, then keep on watching. And don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe to the channel as we continue to grow together. Alright guys, let's get into the video. Now before we begin this video, I want to give a special shout out to the subscriber of the day. Thank you so much for your continued support as we continue to grow this channel together. Alright guys, now this video is long awaited and long anticipated. Like, I remember this was a requested video, and then I also put it as a poll on my community page as well as in my Instagram stories, and by far this was one of the most requested topics, so I'm finally doing it. But before I dive into the figures and the numbers of how I budget my money and how much I spend in a month, I want to get a few things out of the way. Now, as I mentioned before in how much I make in a month living in Kingston, Jamaica as a medical doctor, my salary is not fixed. Now, if you want to get more information on that, then check out that video which I'll list in the iCards right here or here. Whichever one, I'll list it in the iCard so you can get more information, and I will also list it down below so you guys can just check it out so you can have an idea of how much I'm making a month. But that being said, as I said, it is not a fixed salary. It changes month to month based on the number of duties I do. So I have a base salary, and then I have additional things that are added on, such as duties and traveling, and so all of that is explained and mentioned in that video. Alright, the next thing I should tell you is that there's a little bit of noise. The next thing I should tell you is that this is my main source of income, which is my main income, my 9-to-5 job, and it's pretty much the one consistent source of income that I have. I'm still working on that YouTube income, so don't forget to watch these videos, like, comment and share it with your friend, tell a friend, so that I can become monetized on this channel and, you know, start making some YouTube money to supplement my income. Okay, now the third thing I want to tell you is that I'm in no way, shape or form a financial advisor, financial guru or a financial wizard. I'm just a trying girl, and this is just how I spend my money. And I'm still working on it. I'm still trying to work out all of the kinks and all of the mishaps, and I still make mistakes, and I still squander when I'm not supposed to squander, and buy things I'm not supposed to buy, and it's a mess. But I'm still working on it, and as I continue to evolve and I'll continue to grow and continue to, you know, try to improve, I'm just giving you guys a baseline of what I spend in a month. Alright, that was a long-winded explanation. Now let's get to the meat of the matter. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I have my notebook here. This is my notebook where I write down my budget for the month so I get an idea. So I actually write it down. I won't give you guys, I'm gonna cover it up, but like, yeah, so this is, I write it down in this book, and I do category allocation, expected and actual. So I divide my budget into two categories, right? The first category is fixed expenses. Now these are recurrent expenses that I expect to have every month. They don't change, they won't change, and they're highly unlikely to change in my lifetime unless something drastic happens and there's a general industry change. All right, as well as flexible expenses. These are things that they do or recur, or they may recur, but if they do, the charges may be different based on what I expend based on the month. Alright, now that we've cleared that up, let me get into the fixed expense categories. Now, the first fixed expense is my rent. I live in Kingston, Jamaica, and if you guys know anything about Kingston prices, housing market is going crazy. Now, rent can go as high as $100,000 for a one-bedroom apartment, and I am seeing that, or $100,000 for a one-bedroom, $100,000 for two bedrooms. It is going crazy. They're even quoting some prices in US dollars, which is absolutely ridiculous. And I made the decision last year, as you guys know, to leave the comfy cushioned lifestyle of my parents' household as a freeloader in my parents' house to decide that I want to be a big woman and come out on my own. And because of that, I now have the expense of rent. And in Kingston, I pay anywhere, so I'm going to give you a range. So I pay anywhere between $40,000 and $90,000 for rent. Now, it is a fixed expense, so I do pay a fixed number. I'm just not telling you the exact figure because I don't think it will necessarily help you, but I pay between $40,000 and $90,000 a month on rent, and that is a fixed expense, and it makes up around 11-12% of my salary in terms of housing. I also pay something called a maintenance fee, which is attached to my apartment complex, and that fee deals with things like security. It also deals with things like, you know, upkeep of the, you know, grass, you know, having a gardener, having someone clean, doing any kind of construction or fixtures around the place. That is contributed by every person in the apartment complex, and that is anywhere that is between $3,000 and $8,000. So, and that is so it's between $3,000 and $8,000 a month, right? Included in my rent is also my water. So I don't pay water, I pay rent and water, which is included. So that is in the $40,000 to $90,000 fee, as well as the maintenance fee, which is also deals with things like security and stuff like that. So that is my first fixed expense. My second fixed expense is my car loan. As you guys know, last year my car was stolen by some fiend who opened them dead a bush. But anyways, ching. Alright, my car was stolen, so I had to purchase a new car, and that car, you know, considering right now I'm dealing with all of the insurance issues and trying to get, you know, my insurance claim sorted out, I had to take a car loan because who was sitting down saving up money expecting to buy a new car? Not I, said the cat, because I had fully paid it off. Anyway, so I bought a new car, and because I bought this new car, I had to take out a loan, and so I have to pay back the bank because Caesar always collects their taxes, and so I pay the bank monthly, and I pay the bank between $40,000 and $60,000 a month in my car loan, and that makes up around 10% of my salary. It's pretty close to what I pay in rent, but my rent is just a little bit more. Alright, so that's my first two fixed expenses. My next fixed expense is my internet. I have a digital Wi-Fi. Now, I only got the internet only because, and I know a lot of people will tell you to get the package with the cable and the phone and the internet, but I'm going to be real with you guys. I don't have a house phone, and I probably won't use the house phone because I don't want nobody calling me other than people who have my cell phone number. And two, I don't have a television, and I don't intend to get a television anytime soon or ever. I don't know, maybe when I have children I'll get a television, but for me personally, I don't watch television. I don't intend to get a television. I pretty much just watch everything on my computer anyway, so my Netflix and everything, I just watch it on the computer, and then if I feel like being bougie, I will plug in my projector and project it onto the wall. So there is no use for me to get cable or any use for me to get a phone or a landline. So I get the internet only package, and I think it's the second one, the second package in the internet only, and it costs me a little under $7,000 a month. I'll tell you guys that exact figure because truth be told, anybody can look it up on the digital website and get exactly how much you pay for internet or phone or landline. So I pay a little under $7,000 a month just for internet only. It's 5G. me alone. So I mean, I think it's a good deal. Next fixed expense is my cell phone bill. Now I have a postpaid cell phone. Now I know a lot of people have prepaid, so they buy credit, but truth be told, it's a lot more taxing to me to buy credit. So I just pay a postpaid bill, which is done monthly. I have the Prime Start bundle, I believe, which gives me 30 gigabytes of data per month, unlimited calls, as well as I think 20 gigabytes of free YouTube and social media data. So I think that just covers me, and anything not used is rolled over. So that pretty much covers me. Free calls, I mean unlimited calls, so I can call everybody and anybody that I need to. Basically a large amount of data, as well as a large amount of social media, which helps me in terms of like uploading videos in case I'm doing it on the move. So that works out for me, and for that I pay $4,525 per month. So as I said, it's digital, so anybody can go and look up on their website to find out exact figures. I'll just tell you guys and save you the heartache. All right, so those are pretty much my main fixed expenses. All right, so the next category I tell you about is insurance. Now currently I have critical illness, I have health insurance. I don't have life insurance yet, even though I told you guys in that video about financial mistakes I made in my 20s. I'm still making that mistake in my 30s, but I mean that's a reason. But anyways, I need to get my life insurance and get my life in order, but a different story. I currently have critical illness and health insurance, and that costs me around $10,000 a month for both. The health insurance costs more than the critical illness, truth be told. Yeah, health insurance costs more than the critical illness, so that is where bulk of it goes to. And I think that's a fixed no, it costs me more than 10. I think it costs me around $12,000 a month, and that is what I pay monthly in order to, you know, protect myself for, you know, health issues and critical illness issues, you know, any disability. I have disability is in the critical illness as well. It's one of the things covered, so I have that. So that cost me around $12,000. The next thing I have is on the fixed expenses are my savings and investments. So I do contribute, as mentioned before. If you watch my video about doctors and that we don't actually have a pension plan, I started my own individual pension scheme because I think it's important to protect myself for the future. So I started to squirrel away my little nuts in a account. So I opened my own private pension plan, and that is this. I pay the same amount as I pay my rent, which is anywhere between $40,000 and $90,000. So it's the same exact figure for my rent and my pension, so it makes up the same exact percentage. So I'm saving for now, saving for later, right? So I pay now, save for later. So that's just one of my expenses, or one of my tactics in order to how I allocate my funds, is that I don't think I should be paying more in rent than I am saving or able to save for the future. Right, so I have my pension plan, as well as I have another saving that I have is I'm still trying to save for a down payment on a home. So I do try to save a little bit, not as much as the pension, but I do try to save a little bit each month so that, you know, it can accumulate, and that is anywhere between $20,000 and $40,000 that I save each month. Or I try to save. I don't necessarily always get there, but I try to save that each month, and that is just for me to try and finance my getting a home for myself for the future. So it's just me putting a little account to get a down payment, and yeah, those are pretty much my fixed expenses. So I try to make them fixed because I want to make sure. The main reason why I'm very fixed on my pension as well as my home down payment is that I feel like it's important for you to pay yourself, and in my eyes those are acts of paying myself. I'm paying myself later in terms of my pension, and I'm paying myself now in terms of saving for the down payment on my home, because in the event that in the future I'm hoping that I'll be able to purchase my dream home or purchase a home, if it's even to start my starter home until I can get my dream home, then I'm doing something that is benefiting me in the long run, and not just paying Caesar and the piper and the plumber and everybody and the village people, and not making sure that I'm securing myself and my future. All right, so those are my fixed expenses, and those are things, as I said, are recurring, and I pay them every single month for the most part, and they are automatically, except for my rent. My rent is not automatically, like my rent and the maintenance were not automatically deducted, but like my pension, the home down payment, well, that is not automatically deducted, I have to transfer it, but my pension is automatically deducted out of my account each month, and it's literally the only one that is automatically deducted. Look at me. So my pension is automatically deducted, so I don't even give myself a choice in whether or not I'm going to pay it. It's automatically deducted out of my salary, and everything else I make a conscious effort to allocate them and pay them and be the first things that I pay. Oh yeah, the loan is also automatically deducted. That's the only other thing that's automatically deducted. But as I said, everything else I make a conscious effort, so as soon as I get paid, I try to transfer those out so that I don't have any excuses as to why they weren't paid. Now, okay, after all of that rambling, let's get into what I consider my flexible expenses, or expenses that are secondary to my fixed expenses. So my fixed expenses, them I have to pay, they're the first things I pay, and then the flexible expenses are the things that change each month, or I may not pay them each month. So the first flexible expense, I do pay it each month because I need it, and that is electricity, which is provided by JPS, aka the Jamaica Public Service, for those of you who don't know in Jamaica. So we only have one electric company, one service provider called the JPS, and they are, you know, I won't say anything, but if you're Jamaican, you know what I mean. Anyways, so I pay them each month, and my bill comes to around it comes to under $5,000 a month. And if it goes over if it goes to $5,000, I'm going to call up JPS and ask them who them take them trying. But it comes to under $5,000 a month. It's not an exact figure. I'm not going to give you an exact figure, but it comes to under $5,000. So most times comes to under 4,500, under 4. But you know, I'm not giving. There are no exact figures, and I'm just telling you, on average it comes to under $5,000 each month, even though I think it's a little bit too pricey for someone who lives alone and works 8 hours a day or more. But you know, location tax and all, we all know that JPS adds special taxes to you based on your location, so I'm paying my location tax. So that is what I pay, under $5,000. The next major expense area for me is traveling and transportation. I have to buy gas to go to work, and gas prices keep going up, so it is messing with my life, my budget, and everything in between. And I drive an SUV, which, you know, can be I mean, it's relatively fuel efficient. I won't say it's a gas guzzler, thank God. So it's relatively fuel efficient. So gas is a next category, and I try to keep my gas expenditure to under $20,000 a month, you know, and the $20,000 is something that I recently increased based on the fact that gas is over $200 per liter, like $200+ per liter. What? Now, mind you, most times I don't spend the $20,000, but I have put a little cushion in place because gas prices keep going up, and I don't want to be embarrassed or rude at all. Right. Now, the next major category in terms of food, and I'm sorry, I'm too embarrassed to tell you guys how much I spend on food and groceries and eating out, because no, girl, I have to do better. I have to do better. I'm not gonna lie. I need to be better in my supermarket shopping habits, my grocery shopping habits, as well as my eating out shopping habits are terrible. I have been improving, I must say, but I still need to do a better. And I spend a good amount of money on food, pretty much the same as I spend. Well, not the same, but it's getting a bit too close. it's getting a bit too similar to what I spend on rent. It's looking a little bit too close to me, and I'm a bit concerned. A bit concerned. A bit concerned. Right? So yeah, my food budget the food prices are too damn high. It's too damn high. It's looking too good. It's looking too high. And I'm not telling you guys, I'm too embarrassed to tell you what I spend on food. And then also I don't go to the market, so I waste a lot of money not buying, fresh fruits and vegetables. So forgive me if I don't tell you, because I'm too embarrassed to tell you what I spend on food. Right. The final 3 categories that I have is 1, grooming. Now, I'm gonna be honest, grooming and personal care really has been taking a back seat in my life. And under grooming and personal care is to include expenses such as if I need to buy any new clothes or shoes, any hair care, skin care products, as well as any pedicure, manicures, getting my brows done, getting my hair done. And I'm not gonna lie, that category, it has been looking quite dry and dusty lately. So I really need to revamp how much I'm spending on that and how much I'm willing to spend, because I have not been taking as much of a care of myself as I should. So that budget, even though the category is there, I really don't have a budget for it because I have not been spending in that category, considering so many of the other expenses have been going up, such as transportation and food have been going up. I have been taking and moving allocations from the personal care category towards those categories, and it's a shame because when you look good, you feel good. I don't know what anybody else, but when I look good, I feel good. My confidence levels are higher. I feel like, yes, goody, wagwan goody, yes, goody shop. That's what I feel. I feel good. I feel empowered. So I really need to make more of a conscious effort to take care of myself. Now, the final 2 categories are 2 recent additions, which happened because girl decided that she wants 2 new expenses to her life. She wants new expenses to her life. And the first one is the senior, the love, the man himself, Casper. I think you guys have realized when I told you guys how much I spent at Price Mart that Casper is a bit pricey. He's a bit of an expensive addition to my life. Between paying for grooming, paying for him to get his neck scarred, doing Inco pads because he's an inside dog food, and other pet accessories, Casper is a bit expensive. I try to keep the money that I spend on Casper to under, let's see, what range do I try to keep it in? I try to keep it in like the $10,000 to $18,000 range. That's how much I try to keep it at. Sometimes I spend less, to be honest. Sometimes I spend more, but that's where I try to keep it for Casper, because Casper is he's an expensive addition to this household. Expenses. Now, the last category that I have is home. Since I moved into my apartment, I'm still renovating, I'm still adding new stuff, as well as their regular household items that I never even have to think about before, but all of a sudden now I have to think about things such as toilet paper, paper towel, toothpaste, mouthwash, soap, detergent. Like, I never had to think about all of those stuff when I was at my parents' household, and now I have to be adding those things into my budget. Truth be told, sometimes it's a new category, so I don't have an exact figure for the budget, because what I have been noticing is that a lot of times I just because I buy it sometimes at the supermarket, I buy it as along with the grocery. It's just mended into the grocery bill, so it comes as one. So I have to make a conscious effort to separate the 2 categories so that I can see exactly what I'm spending on groceries and exactly what I'm spending on the household items, because the household items can run a pretty penny, and I'm just adding it into the grocery, or I just collectively call it grocery bill, even though there is food and then there is household item. So that category is a new category which I have since added to kind of say all right, this is how much I want to spend, or this is a category that I think I need to spend on household items. So what I'm doing for the next month or two is when I go, I track. I mentioned to you guys before when I told you how I paid off my car loan the first time, was that I tracked my expenses. So now I'm trying to track my expenses to see how much I'm actually spending towards household items and see areas where I can kind of get it down so that I can have an exact figure for my budget. So right now there isn't an exact budget figure because it's a new category and I'm trying to work it out. All right, so those are what I spend. Those are the categories of items that I spend in a month and what I am intending to spend this coming month. And I thought it best to give you guys this video right about now because one, I've been stalling, I've been wasting the time and not giving you guys a figure. Two, it is great for young doctors to have an idea of how expenses are, especially if they live out on their own or they may be in areas where they have to live on their own. Now, two things I need to mention is one, if you can stay with your parents, stay with them as long as possible because life outside is not cheap, it is not easy, and squirrel away your money, save up your money and live with your parents, live on your parents' front tail for as long as you can. And two, my budget has changed since between when I became an intern to when now I'm a medical officer / resident in obstetrics. My budget has changed astronomically significantly, and you don't have to have a perfect budget. Your budget don't even have to look exactly like mine because I am someone who is, as I said, still tweaking my budget because you guys may see that I go places a lot like fun and recreation, and I don't have an exact category for that because I try to keep that section as low as possible, but it actually turned to personal care. But if you want to have a category for your fun, for your recreation, if you want to go on party, if you want to go on concert, if you want to go carnival, and you want that to be a category for you, then you should make it a category and set a budget for it. And it's best for you to set a long-term budget so that you can save it up as little by little, so that you don't have to just continue, you don't have to make it to be a big expenses. So if you know say carnival coming up and you want to go next year, because I mean if you want to go this year, I don't know how you're going to go, but if you want to go next year, then you know say it's going to cost $1,000 for costume, so and so for room and board, whatever, then you can divide up your expenses and see how much it will cost you, and then divide it up and try to put that away each month. So don't think that your budget has to look exactly like mine or it has to even look similar, because there are some categories that you may not want to add and there are some categories that you may need to add. Like not everybody has a pet, not everybody lives on their own, so those categories don't have to be added, but so you definitely need to tweak it to how you want to make sure that your life is allocated. There are categories that I definitely think that you should have, such as your pension, your insurances, life, critical, health insurance, and the younger you get it, the better. So I'm going to look at and see if there are any other. But also, if you're a fashionista, budding fashionista, and you want to have a discretionary spending for your clothing and, you know, look good, feel good, then do that. So that's all I'm saying. Just make sure that you look at what your expenses are and budget and allocate them accordingly. I just think that everybody should make sure they have their pension and their insurances in order, as well as some kind of saving and investment plan. I forgot to mention categories. So a category that I should mention is their expenses which are not monthly but they are annual. So annual expenses such as my car fitness, my motor vehicle certificate, my car insurance, going to the dentist or getting checkups, those are expenses that I also have, and I try to make up for them by, you know, squirreling away or saving towards them because I know that they're coming up. As I said, I have health insurance which help to offset the cost of certain things, but I still have to make sure that I know or budget for and plan for a car, especially the car insurance, because that is a big expense that comes on and will sneak up on you like a thief in the night. So that is a yearly expense. I have my monthly expenses as well as my yearly expenses. And another yearly expense is also going to get my eyes tested yearly. I try to, I don't always make it, but I also try to do that. So those are yearly expenses which I have to also try and factor into my budget. Sometimes I don't know where the money is coming from, but the money have to come and God will always provide, so I don't even worry about it. But I mean, I try to still make plan prepare and plan so that I can have an idea or have something to offset the cost of all of these expenses. So that is how my budget is set up, right? Okay, hopefully this video was one, helpful, informative, as well as entertaining, because I know I said a lot and I was trying to give a lot of information in a short period of time. So hopefully you guys found it useful. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave it down below, or you can shoot me a DM. I will answer you. And this is what I spend in a month as a Kingstonian, born and bred, living on my own in Kingston, Jamaica. Now, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I thank you guys for watching, and if you reach this far, you know, say something, put some dollar signs like dollar bill, y'all, so that I know how far you reached in the video. Until next time, peace. Whew. I don't know if, would you guys want this to be like a monthly thing, or I can try or a quarterly thing, so I can show you how I'm adjusting my budget, especially when I get monetized, and see how that adds to my life. Then you can also leave that down below. I love hearing from you guys. I really do. Love you guys. Peace from me and Casper.
Hey!